Continuing coverage of the controversial state budget. It's being touted as one that will spare middle-class families by letting big corporations shoulder a burden. But the $40 billion budget is not going over well with some. While there are positive things in the agreement, there are also $2 billion in new taxes, much of that aimed at businesses. Major companies, including Aetna, General Electric, and Travelers, are all concerned about increased taxes of $700 million over 2 years. So, is this budget bad for business in our state? Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell asked some of the state's biggest employers how millions in new corporate taxes will affect the average resident. Matthew.
Well, Dennis, seeing these big corporations getting hit with these kinds of taxes, it may not faze a lot of people at home, saying, well, it doesn't really affect me. But if you're a customer of these companies or if you work for them, it adds a new perspective. Even before the budget was up for a vote, some of the largest corporations in Connecticut, like GE, threatened to leave the state if it was passed. Now that the budget that includes millions in new corporate taxes has gotten through the legislature, we wanted to know what the future holds for some of our largest employers. And GE isn't backing down. CEO Jeff Immelt sending this letter to employees confirming, as a result of this law passing, I have assembled an exploratory team to look into the company's options to relocate corporate headquarters to another state with a more pro-business environment. Senate President Martin Looney challenges the claim.
GE in particular, we understand that they may have been planning some layoffs and maybe using the bill that we passed as a cover.
Bristol-based ESPN didn't want to comment, but the city's mayor, Republican Ken Cocaine, says the taxes may trickle down to the average viewer.
Maybe that cost will get translated into a higher cable bill, or a higher food bill, or a higher medical cost.
Looking at the big picture, he's worried this budget may halt potential expansion.
ESPN is large enough where they don't need to come into Bristol. They could come New York, Los Angeles, where they're all over the world. So why give them another reason not to come into town?
And it's not just the big companies that may be downsizing or pulling out completely. The Republican mayor says other businesses those companies employ, the cleaning, office supply, and garbage companies, they could also be affected.
What they should have done was put a surcharge on moving vans, because we're going to have a mass exodus moving out of Connecticut.
In the face of this firestorm, Governor Malloy isn't backing down, but is promising an opportunity to keep the discussion going.
I've had conversations with folks at GE over the last few days. I'm sure those will continue.
Now, many people want to know where the money's going. Democrats say that it's going to be used to fund transportation, social service, educational, and environmental programs. That is the latest. Live with the mobile newsroom here in Hartford, Matthew Campbell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Matthew, thank you. While the budget is done, there are some items still not finished, and that's why state lawmakers will convene a special session. The special session comes with a price tag of approximately $30,000 per day. Legislative leaders have not yet determined a date for the session. Among the items lawmakers will talk about, the Second Chance Bill and excessive use of force by police.